60% of the time, I'm word banking.
He installed something into me that changed me musically forever. And he was like, learn the mid range, and then walked out the studio.
Ooh. DIY.
So let me ask you a very specific question. This is just honestly writer to writer, because there's certain moments where a line will come to me. I'm not going in there with the intention of creating a double entendre, but then I'll look at it, and one of the kind of the critiques that I give when I do music reviews is don't be a slave to the rhyme word, right? Especially for younger writers, where they'll let the rhyming words literally dictate the story, and then they're left with not a lot of content in what they're doing. For somebody that is able, and I know this is putting in reps, but kind of what is your mindset when you're coming across these moments? Are you looking for what this could possibly mean in multiple ways? Or do you kind of just land there because of the way that you set it up? Like
and that's what I was saying. I was like, visually, I need to look at it, right? Because I can write linear, right? Just whatever's next line. But that, I would say I'm doing that like 20% of the time. I'll say another 60% of the time, we at 80% right now. 60% of the time, I'm word banking. And we're just putting bank words at the bottom.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, like you just said, I'll get my first line and that could go 4 different directions immediately.
Right.
I get my first line and I could take it some like 4 different places. So it's just like, do I want to take it all of those places? Place 1, place 2, place 3. I don't want to take it any of those places. But the word.
Yeah.
I might take a word from the line that I could have possibly said.
What kind of word are we talking about? Are we talking about like...
It doesn't matter. World Series is on your hat, right? Okay. I just played, let's just keep it simple. I just played in the World Series. Hear ye is the first thing that came in my mind. Like, off series. That's a bad line. That's a bad rhyme. Hear ye. Whatever line I would do to rhyme hear ye with series is not going to be fire. I instantly know that. Nah, I dismissed that. I just missed that. Yeah. Clearly, that's a better one. Series, clearly. Near me, right? Near me, clearly. Series. Now my mind is going, okay, but you don't got no hard rhyme. Those are all like kind of rhyme. Series, yeah. What's ending with ease? Rees. And this is what I do. Oh, Riesling. That's where Mick Jenkins lyricism comes in.
Right.
Because you're looking for Rees at the end.
Right.
And I'm like, nah, I'm gonna fuck them up. I'm a end the bar, right. So you hear Rees at the end of the bar, but it's gonna go right into Riesling.
That's brilliant.
And start my next bar. You feel me? Like, that's how I end up doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, that's how my lines will sew into each other. You're talking about double entendre, but in the same way, it's like I'm trying to piece this thing together. So sometimes the double entendre was thought of initially. Sometimes a word fits in a spot from the bank that I'm like, oh shit, I could make that mean 2 things if I go in this direction next. You feel me? Like, or then I ask myself, is it worth making it mean 2 things by going in that direction?
Yeah.
Or should you stay on topic? Or, damn, it's going to stay on topic if I go in that direction. Fuck it. We good. Let's keep going. So it's constant evaluation while I'm writing. Does it make sense to go this way? Does it make sense to go that way? Which is why I can't just give you 4 bars, give you another 4 bars. Like, I don't think like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So it's just, I could, but I'd be forcing myself to do something that's unnatural, that while it would probably produce something dope, I would do it because Curtis King challenged me to do it.
When I'm watching your lyrics and I'm reading them along with listening to them, because I just listen to you and I know I got to keep going back. Yeah. As I'm reading this shit is fucking brilliant. How you'll give us lines that's like, all right, here's for the low tier thinkers who just need something. Yeah. And then you'll have another tier, but it'll be in an 8-bar structure where you look back and you say, this whole thing is a theme, even if it feels disconnected from one another. How the fuck do you write like that, bro?
It's
because it can't be linear, right? You're not just.
So I've learned through my many. All right. So if you go to the library, right, and it's like these like books, they always at the bottom of the shelf and they got letters on the back of the book, like it's like A, B, C, D, A, those big ass books, right? Like people never read those. Like I read them all, like every last one of them, from front to back. And in my process of reading, like I learned about like a lot of things inside language via like I learned how syntax work. I learned like linguistics at so many levels, and I also learned something called double speaking. And it's something that a lot of people may not know of or ever heard of. And it's something that, you know, the presidents do, and it's something that a lot of high up people do. And basically you can say a sentence, but that sentence has another layer to the sentence that only a higher tier of people can understand, and it just sounds like regular words.
Is it NLP, neuro linguistic programming?
Kind of,
'Cause
but
that's
it's
a
just
whole
called double speak. It's just called double
yeah,
speaking. Like you can
double
Google it.
speak. Yeah.
And I learned how to do that musically, and I learned that
Mhm.
with me understanding that there are multiple levels of listeners, and also however you listen to something has a lot to do with what you know.
Mhm.
I've learned how to rap to all parties.
Hmm.
So also, and going back to remember what I was saying about being coached.
Yeah.
So I want to give a big shout out to my big dog Punch, because he installed something into me that changed me musically forever. And what he said to me was, yo, Light, like the world know you are a lyricist already. Everybody know that. You don't have to always prove to them that you are an extreme lyricist. So I want you to do something for me. And I was like, what? And he was like, learn the mid range, and then walked out the studio.
Oh, wait a minute.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
And I was like,
Learn
what
the
do you
mid-range.
learn the mid range? Learn how to shoot a mid range musically. You play basketball, just learn how to shoot a mid range musically. And I was like, what the fuck you talking about? And then I went back to the stew, and I was like, oh, no more dribbles. Just
So you slow down on your and one moves, your hot sauce moves.
Yeah, I slow down on all the moves. Ain't no more moves. Get straight to the elbow and pull up.
But see, that's a very different message than dumb it down, which is I never liked that message, because I was like, if you're of a certain level of thinking, even when you dumb it down, that is the byproduct of all the experience and knowledge that you've put the work in. So you could never essentially dumb it down. As much as it is, the simplification is where the genius is at for you. But that, a lot of quote unquote lyricists, self-proclaimed lyricists, all they do is dribble.
Yeah.
There's no concept, there's no content, there's nothing that sticks with you. Even the bars that are memorable are bastardized similes. They call them metaphors, but they're bastardized similes, and they don't stick.
I've learned how to shoot the mid range, aka slow it down. I've learned less dribbling. I've also learned like tonality. So, as a lyricist, like, and with me being a lyricist the way I was, it wasn't too many people to study from, like via Lupe, via ASAP Rock, even Kendrick, a lot of the high up echelon guys. But even Lupe will tell you, like Lupe, and he's told me this multiple times, like, nigga, you mutated into something that I've never seen before with work. Like Lupe would tell me that all the time. Like you're like a product of all of us, but you're like mutating into something, and I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like there's no book for it yet. And so I think what I had to do was I had to go back to the drawing board and listen to some of the people that are not as lyrical but have major impacts. And, I started to listen to Pac more. Pac has no metaphors, zero, none, absolutely none. If mama fixing the hot plate, mama fixing the hot plate. You ain't gonna be no, we was in a room with steam and there was a pot boiling, and he not gonna walk you all the way to the plate. Mama fixing the plate, and that's it.
That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
But the way he's gonna deliver is gonna be very different, though. Yeah,
he's gonna deliver it. But again, like let's take the bar. Just working with the scratch she was given, and Mama made miracles every Thanksgiving. That bar is gonna stick with you for the rest of humanity. I learned that. I learned how to do that while still adding my own sauce in it. So you'll get a bar like that sounds just as regular to the general public, but there is another meaning to the super thinkers. So I've just learned the mid range, man. I might put, or let's say not the mid range. I learned a one through the legs pull up. So it's a mid range, but I still got one dribble on the front of that.
It's not. There's a difference between Kyrie's mid range, how he gets to the mid range, versus somebody who's a spot up shooter, and they just I'm gonna take that, do a couple jabs, and I'm like, when you have a certain flow, certain finesse to your game, you're able to get to these spots, and it's a work of art no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, and that's where I meant. Like, let's say as a lyricist, it's all dribbling. It ain't even no scoring. It's just dribbling.
DIY.
DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.